We're going to get into this game one right here.
Oh yeah, it is Urshifu right off the bat. I like this decision because basically what you're saying is, oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, basically what you can do is you can double attack a slot with Water Urshifu and Rillaboom and say, okay, if Gastrodon comes in here, it's eating a Wood Hammer, right? And there's not even a guarantee that James brought the Gastrodon here because again, it is double Grass type. So, well, perhaps James did bring the Gastrodon is what I meant to say.
Yeah, so this Gastrodon, if Grant goes for Grassy Glide, it will go before the Urshifu attack, because normally Rillaboom would be slower than Urshifu, so the Urshifu would go for certain strikes. But because of Grassy Glide, a new addition to this DLC rule set, could be a thing, but we're actually going to see the Urshifu retreat here, and it's going to go out into Golden Go.
It is Golden Go. Let's go. Okay, quick note here, actually. The Rillaboom does not carry Grassy Glide. It is U-turn, Wood Hammer, and Fake Out. By the way, sorry, Wood Hammer, High Horsepower, Fake Out, U-turn. Interesting enough, we saw that actually the Urshifu outsped the Arcanine in terms of the switching order, so that is kind of important. And Fake Out goes here. This is a nice safe play here, basically saying, okay, I'm going to bring Golden Go, and it's not going to be that bad for me. As now, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I don't think either of us were expecting the Golden Go to come to this matchup, to be completely honest.
Yeah, the Golden Go can trick the Iron Hands, and let's just say a Choice Specs Iron Hands is probably a lot easier to deal with. You do get also a lot of pressure with Shadow Ball or Make It Rain. You can actually pressure the, I believe this is Terra Fairy Gastrodon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's Terra Fairy, so if you want to avoid potential Wood Hammer here, Make It Rain does cover for it. So what's nice about the Golden Go, it's probably in a really safe defensive position against the Iron Hand. Should be able to take one wall charge. Shadow Ball will do a decent amount, even through the Assault Vest. Wood Hammer double up would also do a lot if you expect like the Gastrodon to protect. Although Arcanine could, I guess, come in for another round of Intimidate, but it doesn't resist the Golden Go attacks. So right now, I feel like it's pretty interesting. Gastrodon's in a tough spot. Iron Hands is an okay position, but Rillaboom plus Golden Go can do a lot of damage right here to James' side.
Yeah, no switches here. Gastrodon going for Protect, so we'll have to see what Grant wants to go for. It is the trick. I like this a lot. I feel like this Iron Hand is just such a pain. And even the Assault Vest, like, isn't really that helpful on the Golden Go, and obviously the Choice Specs isn't very helpful at all on the Iron Hands. Just limiting this thing's options, to me, feels like a big win, personally. Whatever to the Gastrodon, I like this. Like, of course the Gastrodon's probably going to Protect here, but, like, there's no need to overthink this one, in my opinion. And we just see a Drain Punch. So now, that's a critical hit. That's actually a really big deal here, as this Rillaboom is Assault Vest, unlike one of the ones we saw earlier. And I mean, this is kind of one of your best options against the against this Pokemon here, against this this Gastrodon here. It's one of your best ways of removing it quickly. So, I mean, this is still a good offensive position for Grant. You've locked the Iron Hands to Drain Punch. You're still threatening Wood Hammer to the Gastrodon. Wood Hammer plus Make It Rain is going to do a ton of damage to pretty much everything. You know it will do a lot of damage to the Arcanine in the back. Even after 2 Intimidates, I wouldn't be shocked if Arcanine went down to Wood Hammer plus Make It Rain, personally. And if it's Landorus, or if it is the, what's the last Pokemon on this team? Urshifu, like, you're probably KOing or doing a ton of damage to both of those as well. So you're basically in a spot where you can pretty much guarantee a trade here, which isn't a terrible position, especially because I think you really want to get rid of these Intimidate Pokemon, because presumably Grant's last Pokemon, I think, is probably Ogerpon. I don't think you're banking everything on the Rillaboom here, supported by the fact that this Rillaboom is actually staying in here.
Yeah, so we're going to see the retreat for the Gastrodon. Going to go out into the Hisuian Arcanine to drop another Intimidate. So that Rillaboom is going to be locked in at -2 attack right here. We are going to see a Shadow Ball come out from the Golden Go into that Hisuian Arcanine. No Choice Specs. Does a decent amount, but a U-turn actually going to come out from the Rillaboom. So going to retreat instead. This is potentially Urshifu. Maybe you go Ogerpon here, but I'd imagine Urshifu to threaten.
Yeah, I don't think you want to take too much damage either on the Ogerpon. If it is the last Pokemon, I feel like it's really important, especially with Rillaboom dropping so low against Gastrodon. Yeah, I think, like, oh yeah, it is going to be Urshifu here. Oh boy, this is definitely spooky. Drain Punch doesn't do that much because of the Choice Specs. You're not under threat of the Wild Charge, which is nice. Like, you know that it's always going to be just this. By the way, James brought 3 Pokemon that can't Protect, which I think is kind of interesting here.
Yeah, I think also what's scary here is you have the Gastrodon that could switch in for James. It's pretty safe of a switch in general. It should be able to eat a 1 close combat Shadow Ball combination. I think what's really going to be interesting here is going to be the Arcanine and the Golden Go speed tiers, because if the Golden Go is invested faster, this is actually a very dangerous position. Could go for like a Terra Steel, Make It Rain, and maybe even just pick up a knockout into the Arcanine, so you gotta watch out. But if you are the Golden Go, you don't have exactly a safe switch, and the Arcanine could even like fire off a Terra Blast potentially into the Urshifu, so a little bit of a tricky spot.
Well, you know, another option is the Arcanine could Terra to Fairy and then go for Flare Blitz into the Golden Go as you switch into Gastrodon, which would be I think, really kind of dangerous, right? Although you would burn your Tera at that point if the last Pokemon is Ogerpon. I don't know how bad that is for you at the end of the day. It is going to be an extreme speed, though, coming out of the Arcanine. Doesn't do that much damage, in all honesty. It is going to be a Shadow Ball. Oh, Goldango. So Goldango's actually faster than the... Oh, a critical hit. That's a big deal. Well, it's a big deal if it's close combat. But yeah, Goldango being faster than Urshifu means that it's also faster than the Arcanine there. So yeah, and close combat coming out here, this is a massive deal because you're doing a ton of damage. It's not enough for another one to KO, but getting that much damage on Gastron from a Pokemon that can hit through Protect is, yeah, like pretty impactful, I think.
Yeah, especially, like, the Gastrodon will heal back up with the grassy terrain and leftover, so it's going to be out of range for another close combat, but make it rain close combat is definitely super threatening, especially...
I like Spike's Iron Hands. It looks so funny in team preview or whatever it's called, the menu.
Yeah, the Landers is going to come in. James still has his Tera. Stomping Tantrum looks super close into Urshifu. I don't know if it'll get the knockout. Depending on the gold investment, might be able to survive one. It's going to be a little bit tricky because the Golden Go, if it's invested a lot of speed, might not be invested in much of bulk right here. Also might come down to like how much Landers actually has in attack. So really it just depends, I think, if you can actually pick up knockouts right here. Because I think for James, you're kind of on a timer because like if Grant is able to actually get a hit off, it's actually going to be pretty bad at this rate.
Absolutely, yeah, I totally agree. Intimidated being a pretty big deal if the Urshifu survives this turn. I also don't know if it'll go into Stomping Tantrum. By the way, something I really like is that this Goldango is being really disciplined, and it's not going for Make It Rain, it's going for Shadow Ball, and I think that that's a pretty massive deal. We do see Urshifu block the Stomping Tantrum with Protect. This is a really ambiguous call, and I think I really like this play from Grant. Here's another Shadow Ball comes out into this Landers. Probably will do about half of its health if I had to guess. A little bit under. That's a nice EV spread. However, there's this special defense drop, and Ice Beam actually into this now. Assault this Goldango not going to do very much damage. We'll look at the freeze. It will not. Goldango still completely healthy. And for anyone wondering at home, like kind of the reasoning behind this play from James, basically, if you lock into Stomping Tantrum and Rillaboom comes in, then you're not really getting that much ground. Rillaboom can probably take a Stomping Tantrum from where it's at. And so by basically going for this play, James said, okay, well, it's obvious I want a Stomping Tantrum for Goldango. I'm going to try and make the play that I think is a little less obvious by stomping the Urshifu for the hopefully get a surprise KO, even though it's like more obvious I'll go after Goldango, and Ice Beaming a potential Rillaboom switch in. But Grant holds their ground, kind of like just says, all right, like I think this play works, and they get the turn right. And now all of a sudden they're once again in an amazing spot, and they still haven't revealed the last Pokemon. Which, if it's Grassy Glide on the like or it's Ogerpon with Grassy Glide and it has its Tera available still, like, I think that Ogerpon is looking like it could really clean this game up nicely.
Yeah, if you're able to get rid of the Landers, especially if the Landers is... Even if it gets low, Grassy Glide will be able to clean up in grassy terrain. It's the only Tera that actually be able to resist. The Iron Hands being Tera Water for James Evans, as well as the Tera Fairy, Gastrodon. Yeah, like everything's going to be threatened by Grassy Glide. We're actually going to see the Golden Go retreat here into Rillaboom because Grant realizes you pretty much have to Stomping Tantrum. You can't really let the Landers take that Shadow Ball once again. If you lose Landers, you do lose the game. So going into the Rillaboom, smart play. Actually going to double switch here.
Interesting.
So going out into
the Ogerpon. Yep. Here we go. And now with grassy terrain up, as long as Ogerpon doesn't take a yawn this turn and it makes it through this turn safely, Stomping Tantrum into the Rillaboom. And even with its low HP, that looks like a crit. Nope, I don't know anything. Wow, Leonard's does a lot of damage. Earth Power into Ogerpon is not bad, but here's the thing. This is like kind of where Checkmate comes into play because James doesn't have Protect on 3 of his 4 Pokemon that he brought to this match. And so, even with Tera still available, I feel like... I don't know. I mean, like, you can go for Tera Fire, Grassy Glide, and a Landorus. If it Terras, I don't know if it will KO, but yeah, especially with the specs on the Iron Hands, you can't even really reliably go for Fake Out here. So, I think that Grant's position is just really, really nice, especially with so much health still left on the Ogerpon here. So yeah, really, really well managed thus far, I would say. Yeah, this is actually kind of an interesting position. The Landers switching out might be a little bit obvious. Tera Fire is dangerous waters because if you do decide to commit to Tera Fire and you don't actually threaten the Gastrodon at all, you could actually be into Earth Power to get KO'd. So you got to watch out for that because James does have very limited options for getting out of this game. So if he does decide to play risky, thinking it's his only chance, that is something that he can definitely commit to. But Landers is going to switch out to Iron Hands. We will see if there is any commitment from Grant, or is there just going to be a safe play, maybe like just Fake Out Ivy Cudgel, for instance. That's a great play. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to hit you up. But yeah, basically, yeah, like even the Grassy Glide is... Oh, it's not even a Fake Out. interesting. Ivy Cudgel into the Iron Hands. That does a lot of damage, and that's now in range of another one. And actually, a double attack into this Lander is really, really, I would say, risky, right? Like you could have lost your Ogre upon that turn to a double up, but gets the turn completely right. And now you have the opportunity to go into Urshifu, who can attack through Protect, or Goldengo, who can just launch a Shadow Ball or Make It Rain, right? And any additional damage at this point is just so valuable. And with the Assault Vest and the Goldengo, like, you can Spiky Shield and eat the Earth Power and Wild Charge, but then you're not even really in bad shape, in my opinion, at that point, because you're probably taking the attack thanks to the Assault Vest. So Gastrodon, by the way, with Leftovers and Grass Seer and healing up a ton of health, but the thing is that it's not going to save it from these powerful Grass-type Pokemon, both of which are still in the game.
No, I absolutely love to play that Grant made. I think like you do kind of read that the Iron Hands is coming in, the Gastrodon's going to protect. You had a few options. You could have went for like a Wood Hammer double up, but like saving the Grassy Glide as a win con, I think is like really nice. You get Goldengo in, and the thing about Goldengo is Landers can't exactly freely switch in here to like a Shadow Ball or even Make It Rain. Even though Make It Rain is resistant, you could go for it just to cover right here. Like you could go for like Ivy Cudgel, Make It Rain. So Landers can't switch in, and Landers is your win con here at this point for James, really, because it's the only Mon that can really take the Grassy Glide combination. So we'll see.
Oh, not even a Protect. Wow, in front of the Fake Out pressure. That's the danger of Choice Specs. Like, if James had gone for a Fake Out there and it had just been protected on, it would have been immediately game over. But Grassy Glide and Make It Rain, like you said, even though it's resistant to both Pokemon, this covers the Landorus switch out here, which feels really good. And yeah, like, it's just so difficult to get past these Pokemon now. And you know what's funny is this Goldengo actually played such a huge role here, not only because it really just like invalidated the Iron Hands, but it's the only Pokemon on this team that isn't weak to flying. And with all these Pokemon on the field, Terra Flying, Terra Blast, Landorus could have in theory cleaned up if it had been positioned properly, but Goldengo was kind of here as this ultimate like check to that, saying, okay, well, if you want to go for Terra Flying, you know, like Terra Blast, you have to do something about Goldengo first. So here James can't even lock into it, has to go for Stomping Tantrum, and yeah, Choice Specs Iron Hands here, not really doing much, I think. Feels like switching out Ogerpon is so safe.
Yeah, at this point, like, if you're James, you're just hoping that Grant messes up and allows you to get some KOs here. And so it looks like Grant is just playing safe, protecting the Ogerpon, maybe like trying to get maybe a free switch or Shifu or the Rillaboom, if that's the case. Yep. So Goldengo's going to go down. Most likely, you're probably just going to bring the Rillaboom. You're probably just going to click Fake Out and Ivy Cudgel, and that should be able to seal it up from there.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, really well played. I mean, yeah, just really, really, really well played by Grant here. I think this was a really masterfully kind of position game. Iron Hand's getting low as well. Yeah, Ogerpon is such a scary Pokemon to bring in the back, especially with priority. I mean, we're seeing the value of Grassy Glide here because ordinarily Iron Hands could you know, be threatening, Landorus could be threatening to outspeed Ogerpon, but here, because of the Grassy Glide, you're always threatening a KO before it moves, or if not a KO, at least the attack. We see the value in saving low HP Rillaboom, by the way, here. It's just like, although it's not normally like considered, like sometimes you want to let your low HP Pokemon faint, but here it was really good because of the utility that Fake Out provides. So yeah, we're going to see a Terra here. This is most likely Fire, just to ensure that Terra Fire, Ivy Cudgel picks up the KO on the Landorus with Fake Out support, and at that point, like, there's not really anything that James can do if Landorus goes down with only Choice Specs Iron Hands left.
Yep, so we will see the Terra, the Embody Aspect, going to get that +1 attack, so it's back to neutral. And again, a double Fake Out into Ivy Cudgel should just be able to wrap this game up from here. Landorus is going to flinch, but it's probably going down this turn to the Ivy Cudgel. I don't think there's any miracle here that Landorus could survive.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way for James back into this with this play, sealing it up. Like, especially with Landorus locked into Choice Specs, or like with the Choice Specs locked into Wild Charge. Yeah, this Choice Specs was really impactful. I mean, James has really been showing the power of Iron Hands. It feels like in a lot of his games, he's really showing just like the bulkiness and the tankiness and like the healing and the move coverage. It's just been such a good Pokemon for him, and being able to really invalidate that from the Goldengo, I think, is really, really nice. Especially because it's so risky to like switch something into a Goldengo that you think might trick your Iron Hands, because if you use Shadow Ball or Make It Rain, you could be, like, if not losing a Pokemon, taking a ton of damage.
Yeah, so this should be a wrap right here. You can just go for close combat. You can really go for any attack.
Yeah.
As long as you don't target your own slots for some reason, you should be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think the question is, how does James want to adjust in game 2? Because, like, I feel like James in many ways brought the right Pokemon. He brought Double Intimidate, he brought Gastrodon, which, like, without Gastrodon, like, if Grant's going to bring this Urshifu, I feel like you need Gastrodon. Like, I don't think that's negotiable. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you disagree, but I feel like without Gastrodon, like, I don't know, Surging Strike just goes so, it's just so difficult to deal with. So I feel like you need Gastrodon. You want, at least Landorus, and I think Iron Hands is so good for James that like you might want to bring that too. And I mean, you have Urshifu Dark, but it's not. It's like you said, the team is so fast for Grant, and he has Pokemon like Roaring Moon, which is really threatening with like all these forms of priority. I think there actually is a world in which Urshifu Dark could come. It just like I feel like the other Pokemon are all doing so much work and pulling so much weight that I don't know. What's your take on this? Because I actually really don't know what I would do here if I were James.
If I'm James, I'm considering either two approaches. It's either A, I think a Dark Urshifu bring is actually pretty legitimate because you could potentially, like Terra Dark Wicked Blow would usually KO like most Golden Ghosts, so that is an opportunity. And then after that is eliminated, you can actually do a lot of work with maybe your, I don't know, you might not need Gastrodon, but I do think it's probably necessary.
I agree. Arcanine didn't really do much there. I almost wonder if it's like, do you even need Arcanine? Like, all it did was switch in, take a hit, and then Extreme Speed for, like, 35% on the Urshifu. So I'm wondering if maybe Arcanine, maybe one Intimidate is enough, even though there are all these physical attackers.
Yeah, you might not need Arcanine. Like, if Arcanine was faster than Golden Go, I think it'd, like, be way more valuable.
That's
but since
true,
we confirmed that it was slower, then it might actually be worth, I think, maybe setting up for, like, Iron Hands or Shifu, Gastrodon, Landorus, Fairy. I think that'd be really solid for the most part. I think a lot of the cases, like, you can't let the trick happen in the Iron Hands, but it's kind of weird because you don't want your Gastrodon locked because then you can't protect against the Grassy Glides. If you trick the Urshifu, I guess it's like not that bad if you lose the Sash.
But if you switch on a Shadow Ball or a Make It Rain, it's like so dangerous, especially because we don't know. Like I guess if it's Adamant Urshifu, like the fact that the Goldengo was faster than the
water Urshifu,
the fact that the Goldengo was faster than the water Urshifu and the Arcanine means if it's Adamant Dark Urshifu, maybe the Goldengo's faster. Like it could be timid max speed. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to say for sure, but yeah, Goldengo actually, I think with the pre-talk going into this one, I was talking about how like it didn't really look that good, but it did a ton of work there. Just like James didn't have a Shadow Ball resistance, and even without the choice spec, just consistently putting down damage was really valuable.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I think like you're gonna have to play around to trick your Golden Go, and it's like, I think the only Pokemon you can afford to get tricked is whatever you're bringing between the Hisuian Arcanine and Urshifu, because I think you need your Scarf Landers because otherwise Ogerpon's going to run through your team.
That's true.
And you can't afford Assault Vest or leftovers taken from Gastrodon and Iron Hand, so we'll see Urshifu Rillaboom once again going to be the lead for Grant, as we're going to see the Iron Hands Landis variant. And I like this adjustment actually for James because Terra flying immediately isn't that bad of an option.
No, actually, that's a great call. There isn't any Intimidate on the side of Grant, so Terra flying is actually really, really nice, especially with, like, one of the things is that Gastrodon next to Landorus is really effective at protecting it. So we are going to see a switch here, and then you don't have to pull the trigger immediately, but I do kind of like it. We'll have to see if it looks like James is actually just going to go on the offensive right away, and I think this is honestly a great call. I mean, it's like Urshifu is completely useless here in front of Gastrodon next to Landorus, because it can only close combat the Gastrodon, which, like, with grassy terrain and leftovers isn't going to do anything. James hasn't locked in his move just yet, but he is looking pretty strong to consider it. And unlike the first game, this is a big difference. In the first game, I believe the Urshifu switched out turn 1, game 1, but now it's staying in. So what's it going for here? Is it going for a Surging Strikes? Is it going for a close combat? I mean, neither option is phenomenal, to be honest. So Landorus going for the Terra Flying here. And the question is, what does Rillaboom go for? Is it going to go for Fake Out? I think the offensive pressure from James here is phenomenal, frankly.
Yeah, I think what's also amazing about like this, but it's just a Fake Out on the Landorus, so Landorus won't be able to move this turn. Is it close combat? Is there Surging Strikes? It is going to be Surging Strikes.
That's a huge deal. Getting a special attack boost on Gastrodon is a very, very, very big deal. I think, I mean, I understand where Grant is coming from here, but I think that James has just completely outmaneuvered this early game.
Yeah, what I like about this Terra Flying, though, from James is, like, the problem is he did not have a Grass switch in. Because you were using Hisuian Arcanine over regular Arcanine, you're taking neutral damage from Grass, and having no switch in against Grassy Glide from Ogerpon as well as Woodhammer, huge problem. So the fact that he has immediate pressure with Terra Blast, the fact that he can actually switch in for the Intimidate against the Rillaboom a lot safer because like Woodhammer would actually do a lot on the switch. I think this ends up being really nice, and now he has like Terra Blast pressure, and Terra Blast Earth Power is a thing. Like, we could see Rillaboom counter Terra in response for Woodhammer potentially to Gastrodon, because if you're able to eliminate the Gastrodon, the Urshifu, as we mentioned before, does go in against his team.
Yeah,
so
I actually kind of like a Terra Fire here from the Rillaboom and going for a Woodhammer. It is Urshifu switching out. Let's see what this is. This is most likely, I want to say, Goldengo coming in, because it is your only flying resist on this team, so no surprise there. The question is, what's Rillaboom doing? Is it switching? It probably can't switch out here. It is the Terrassalization from Rillaboom. I don't think Gastrodon protected here, James.
I don't recall either. I'm pretty sure that it went on the offense, and I'm pretty sure that they went for a double up.
I think they Earth Powered the Rillaboom, and I feel like they Terra Blasted somebody, obviously. It could have actually been Stomping Tantrum for the double power, but yeah, Terra Blast coming out here. I almost wonder if into the Rillaboom. Okay, yeah, good call there. It does. Oh, it's not enough for a KO with Woodhammer recoil. Woodhammer into the Gastrodon. Gastrodon taking a ton of damage here, going all the way down to 0. Gastrodon knocked out. That means that Surging Strikes is back on the table.
Urshifu's going to go absolutely big right here. The big thing is you did get Rillaboom pretty low, and you did force the Terra commitment. But the thing is, yeah, this Urshifu is really going to go pretty hard. You do bring in the Arcanine because you are threatening a Terra Blast into the Rillaboom, and since there's no defensive Terra, you can go for a Flare Blitz into Golden Go. You also pressure potential like Terra Blast into the Golden Go if you want to try to read the Urshifu coming in for that slot. But it looks like we're just going to see just a safe play, safe standard play. Let's see if Grant maybe overthinks it, maybe commits something.
I feel like Grant's position is so good because if you hit the Arcanine with a Make It Rain, or the Landers of the Make It Rain here, it's going to be in range of Grassy Glide from the Ogre Pond. It's going to be in range of Aqua Jet from the Urshifu most likely. So the speed on this Goldango actually could be massive. The fact that we know that it outspeeds this Arcanine is just such an impactful thing here. And though, like, Rillaboom has done his job here. It took out the Gastrodon instead of the grassy terrain. Like, it's done more than enough. And Grant knows all of James's Pokemon, so he doesn't have to worry about stuff like Urshifu Dark, for example. He knows exactly what's going on. And Terra Blast coming out here. This is a great play from Grant to stay in here. Rillaboom is going down, but again, Rillaboom has done what it needed to do. It took out the Gastrodon. It burned the Terra. It set up the grassy terrain. Question is, what is Goldango going for? And did James and I make a mistake? Is it possibly Arcanine's actually faster here? Goldango goes for Thunderbolt, actually. That is really, really clever. Yeah, that's a really, really great play because Landorus is going down here, and because of that now, this Arcanine is choiced into the, like, whatever it uses here for the rest of the game, and we know Urshifu's in the back, and there's no Terra for the Arcanine on top of this recoil. So Flare Blitz going to one-shot Goldango, but that is a phenomenal trade here, taking out the Goldango in exchange for some of its health, but now Urshifu is perfectly positioned. The two Pokemon that were threatening it, the Landers with the Terra Flying, Terra Blast with Choice Scarf, and the Gastrodon with Storm Drain have both been eliminated, and so all of a sudden, Urshifu looks like it's going to pop off.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad for James right here. I'm pretty sure, I think the only way you win this, I think probably, Grant, you're probably just going to double protect to avoid the fake out. You know that the Arcanine can't set up anything, so pretty much you get free grassy terrain healing if you're James. I don't think you can live this Aqua Jet, especially with the Mystic Water from the Urshifu. Yeah. If you can, that actually does maybe impact the game, but I think it's super unlikely.
The thing is, like, I don't think that, like, you would need basically to survive an Aqua Jet, and then you'd also need, I think you might need Grant to make a mistake this turn, to be honest. Because, like, it's really hard to imagine Iron Hands 1v1ing. Like, you need basically Iron Hands to, you need to survive an Aqua Jet, have Ogerpon double up, Wild Charge one-shot the Urshifu, have Drain Punch two-shot the Ogerpon, and not get two-shot by Heavy Cudgel in response. If you live the Aqua Jet, it's not impossible, but also, like, we know that Urshifu is faster than Arcanine, and if Grant has realized that as well, then you can just go for Surging Strikes, and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, so it's, oh man, you pretty much are really hoping for a mistake here if you are James, but let's see if Grant can clean this up. You have probably a bunch of safe plays. You can go for the Aqua Jet, you can go for the Surging Strikes.
You could follow me in Aqua Jet if you wanted.
Yeah, there's so many plays you can make here.
Yeah, that's actually a bad play. Don't do that.
I think the only way is like either self-target or going by Protect by accident. But follow me actually going to come out.
Okay, I like this if it's Surging Strikes. If it's Surging Strikes, I think this is great. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, just like, that's like a case where it's like, okay, I think I'm faster, but like, what if it's a speed tie? I don't know, so.
Unless Wild Charge crits Ogerpon and actually is able to pick up the knockup, because that would actually.
No, it's resisted because it's pure grass type still.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Wild Charge does a fair bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough here. Iron Hand's taking a little bit of recoil, but in a 1 versus 2 situation, this is going to be, I mean, I'll say it. I think this is impossible. I don't think that Iron Hands is going to win this one. Grass's End, I actually don't think that helps because, yeah, like you don't need the damage boost if you're Grant, and the healing only helps James. So, yeah, I mean, unless something really ridiculous happens here, I don't think Ivy Cudgel and Surging Strike will KO without the Terra boost. But yeah, I mean, the damage is just so significant here as we see 1, 2. This is a slower animation than I remembered. 3 hits from Surging Strikes. James, I think, conceding there, understanding that the game is most likely over. Drain Punch doing a ton of damage there, but it's not going to be enough. Even if it was a critical hit, even if it was a one-shot, it still wouldn't have even healed enough to allow Iron Hands to take another hit here. And yeah, just locking in this Journey Punch here as Ogerpon is most likely going to end this one with an Ivy Cudgel. Ivy Cudgel comes out here, and just like that, Grant Laird is your Beast Coast 2023 Safari Zone winner. Champion winner.
Yep. Champion. So guide us through like what your thought process was through that team. You had a bunch of options with the Grassy Glide from the Ogerpon. You decided not to bring your Roaring Moon, which meant you had no Tailwind. You were able to trick the Iron Hands, which was a super big threat to your team. Like, what was your game plan like throughout the match?
So my initial approach in team preview, one thing I noticed is, despite in a lot of my matchups, I had to rely on Roaring Moon in order to set up Tailwind against Scarf Landorus. I wasn't able to do that in this match because of the pressure of Urshifu Dark in team preview, as well as Arcanine. So I decided to go with a little bit more of a risky route of using Golden Go as a Terra Blast switch in and figuring out, or at least scouting, what James's options would be regarding his Landorus.
Did you have an idea of the speed tiers? We actually saw that your Golden Go was faster than your Urshifu, which was also faster than the Hisuian Arcanine, because that game plan changes immensely if the Arcanine is faster than your Golden Go. Did you happen to know going into, or did you have like a guessing, or like you knew how your Golden Go was trained that it was just going to probably likely outspeed?
Yeah. So I got a few impressions from other people, also through the stream, that his Arcanine was more like bulky. Knowing that my Golden Go would be faster because I know my own spread, I was willing to go with that Gambit considering the amount of bulk he had, and thankfully it paid off.
All right, awesome. Can you take us through your tournament in general from like day one, like how hard it was, into day two Swiss? Like, give me like basically the layout of like your run here.
It feels like day one was almost like a week ago in a way, because I believe my run started off pretty smooth. My round one was a full Hail team, which was very funny to face against. And my first roadblock ended up coming with Justin Tang, I believe, in round 3. And that matchup was very difficult, primarily because he used his Swords Dance Ogerpon to very great effect, and pretty much made it very difficult for me to gain a lead. From that point on, I felt like every single match, in one way or another, involved Roaring Moon, despite it always getting Drain Punched, and just being able to position it perfectly, get those perfect Tailwind timings off, watching like grassy terrain turns. One thing with this team is you have to be very aware of the exact sequencing of which Pokemon move first, when terrain ends, when Trick Room goes off, when you think your opponent's going to pivot. Because if you get called out on one of those, it can be very difficult to claw your way back into the game.
All right. How'd you feel like day one, day two? Like, can you tell us about your tournament experience in general? Not just this tournament, but like your previous competitive experience? Like,
sure. So prior to this, I ended up starting VGC back with the beginning of Sword and Shield, right before COVID-19 ended up coming into effect. Throughout COVID, or the pandemic, I gained a lot of experience. My team building skills have significantly improved because that's been pretty much my entire focus throughout, I guess, these 3 years. And it's just been really great knowing that after almost like repeated 6-3 finishes, where I'm just this close to winning the game or getting to that day 2 and missing out, it just feels really good to finally have my first top cut and, I guess, first tournament win.
Oh, that is awesome. You were able to do it well. There were a lot of favorites here, like our classic locals top cuts, multiple regional winners, multiple world's top cutters, and you were the one who triumphed victorious at this one. You have won, don't quote me on the numbers, but it's like, I think like 47% of the pot, which I think is like 2.4K. How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling great because I was in very dire straits. I will not lie. Regionals are very tough on your wallet.
But also, like, do you have any shout-outs to give anyone that supported you on this trip?
Yeah. if I had to say, my mom for always supporting me, Alex Arand, of course, Justin Tang, Brian Yum. We're all in a group, so I'm very grateful to all of them for constantly, I guess, supporting me and each other. It just means the world to me.
That is awesome. Any last words you want to say to our viewers before we wrap it up here?
Going into this tournament, I will not lie to you. My Ogerpon was not Ogerpon Fire. It was Ogerpon Rock. Don't use Ogerpon Rock. I beg of you. Signing off.
That, I guess, don't use Ogerpon Rock.
Don't use Ogerpon Rock.
Any last region? What's your next regional, actually?
Oh, so I have not booked it yet because it's a little bit difficult right now, but I think I'm going to decide to go to Toronto Regionals, hopefully.
That is an awesome place. A lot of great competitors, and Toronto is a beautiful city, so should be a good one. We're hoping to wish you a lot of luck, and maybe we'll see another strong performance there.